Luka Doncic exploded into the NBA, averaging 21.2 points per game, 7.8 rebounds per game, and 6 assists per game in 2018 to 2019, winning the Rookie of the Year as the NBA world hailed him to be a modern-day Larry Bird. The following season, the Slovenian phenomenon averaged 28.8 points per game, 9.4 rebounds per game, and 8.8 assists per game, while leading the Dallas Mavericks into the playoffs. During his third season, Doncic placed 6th in MVP voting and put up some of the finest postseason stats we've ever seen, finally falling in 7 games to the Clippers. Ja Morant joined the league in 2019 to 2020 as a consolation prize for the Memphis Grizzlies after they missed out on the first overall choice and the rights to Zion Williamson. Despite winning Rookie of the Year, Ja Morant grinded through his freshman year with little to no fanfare. During his second season, he kept pushing and guided Memphis to its 8th seed in last year's Western Conference playoffs, but he didn't make the All-Star team. Let us fast forward to 2022. Morant was recently named an NBA All-Star starter, and he has the Grizzlies sitting at a remarkable 35-18, securely as the Western Conference's 3rd seed. At the same time, Doncic struggled early in the season and now finds himself outside the All-Star game, hoping to make it in as a reserve. So who's better? Let's find out. Up first, we have scoring. Ja Morant averages 26.4 points per game on 20.71 attempts per night. Previously, he was a below-average three-point shooter, which offered defenders a tiny drop-back cushion that they could exploit on the perimeter, daring Morant to shoot from deep and reducing some of his burst advantage toward the rim. This season, however, not so much. The former number 2 selection is hitting 35.4% of his long-distance bombs while only taking 2.2 spot-up three-pointers per game, which means that if defenders take a step back in 2022, trying to take away Morant's drives to the basket, he's more than capable of scoring a step-back three. Morant's agility and ability to finish near the rim, along with his improved stroke, make him a one-man offensive machine. Luka Doncic averages 25.6 points per game, but his three-point shooting has limited his offensive effectiveness. He's only making 30.9% of his long-range distance shots, and defenders have taken note, opting to take a step back and let Doncic blast away from deep. In previous seasons, Wonderboy used his 6'7" frame to intimidate point guards in the post, resulting in easy baskets in the lane. But this season, he's down to 0.89 points per possession on post-up attempts. We're being a little picky about Doncic. He's still one of the top bucket getters in the world, and despite his weaknesses, he's just slightly behind Morant in terms of scoring. Up next, we have defense. Doncic entered the 2022 season slightly out of shape, with his legs from under him and his battle on D in November and December. Doncic has rounded into shape, though, as we move throughout Christmas, and he's been impressive nonetheless on the entertaining end. The Mavericks are 11-4 in their last 15 games, thanks to their second-ranked defense, and Doncic has a 99.4 defensive RTG over his last 15 games, which is good for second on Dallas, and he also has a very great 44.4 defensive field goal percentage. We're now seeing what Doncic can do when he's completely engaged on the less playable end, and he doesn't bode well for the rest of the league. Ja Morant has made significant progress on defense, but at 6'3" and 174, he lacks the size to clamp down opposing point guards, limiting his total effect on the less pleasant end. The statistics are dreadful. With Morant on the court, the Grizzlies are 6.9 points less stingy per 100 possessions. Cleaning the glass places him in the 9th percentile among NBA point guards, and dunks and threes place him in the 42nd percentile overall. Memphis is ranked 8th in the country in defense this season, but head coach Taylor Jenkins has forced to hide Morant, giving more difficult assignments to Desmond Bane or Dylan Brooks. Up next, we have passing. Doncic is a genius with the ball in his hands, and he has the potential to be the league's top passer. He ranks 3rd in the NBA in potential assists per game, but 1st in assist percentage, which means that he's responsible for nearly half of his team's assists while he's on the court. Going deeper, Doncic ranks 3rd in the NBA in drives per game, and has a 44% pass percentage off rim attacks. Simply put, Doncic is the driving force behind the Mavericks' offense. His teammates rely on his drive and kick game to create open looks from deep, and his swing passes from the block are breathtaking. Ja Morant is no slouch when it comes to passing. He ranks 15th in the NBA in assists per game, while averaging 7 a game, and he averages 13.4 potential assists per game. Morant is a top 15 playmaker in the league, and with a strong drive and kick game and the ability to connect to Jaren Jackson Jr. or Steven Adams with pinpoint passes, Morant has exceptional court vision and is the better passer versus practically every other player in the league. But Doncic may go down as one of the best setup men in NBA history. Up next, we have clutch. This season, Ja Morant has been one of the league's top clutch players. The Grizzlies have gone 14-5 in 19 of their last critical games with Morant on the floor in 2022, and Morant has gone full destroyer at the conclusion of those games, averaging 4.1 points per critical game, which ranks third in the NBA. He also makes 50% of his three-point efforts and draws 1.6 free throw attempts, on which he shoots 87.1%. Overall, he's plus 1.9 points in crucial situations thanks to his reckless drives to the rack and never-ending arsenal of crossovers and pump fakes in the middle. Luka Doncic has appeared in 13 clutch games this season, helping the Mavericks achieve a 9-4 record in close games. He has, however, struggled with his shooting. He's only hitting 27.3% of his three-point tries, and his playmaking has also fallen short in crunch time, as evidenced by his 0.3 assists versus 0.2 turnovers. Nonetheless, he's played strong defense toward the end of games and found his way to clinch victories for his team. In the end, he's not on Morant's level at the end of close games this season. Up next, we have basketball IQ. The absolute top of the basketball IQ scale is Nikola Jokic and LeBron James, two players who appear to be a step ahead of everyone else on the floor, seeing things unfold before the rest of the world does. On the other end of the spectrum is Russell Westbrook, who goes full throttle in every game that he steps on the court, oblivious to the best approach to utilize his and his team's skill sets. Luka Doncic and Ja Morant both have IQs around the top of the scale, just below Nikola Jokic and LeBron James. But Doncic has the potential to be the world's third best basketball mind, whereas Morant isn't there yet. When you see Doncic play, his ability to read the game immediately stands out. He instinctively knows when to attack on offense and score, and when to lay back on his teammates to get involved with precision passing. Ja Morant is recognized as one of the league's most athletic point guards, a player who relies on his remarkable burst and shot-making ability to carry his team to victory. Yet it just scratches the surface of what the Grizzlies' starting point guard is capable of. Morant isn't as analytical as Doncic, but he notices flaws in opposing defenses and knows how to attack off the dribble or hold things up and hit a teammate with the dime. Up next, we have impact. Luka Doncic averages 25.2 points per game and 22.2 assists per game for the Dallas Mavericks, who score 106.1 points per game. All of this adds out to his having a hand in just under 45% of the team's point production. Doncic outperforms Morant in terms of effect, but he also averages 8.9 rebounds per game, plays great defense, and has the highest usage rate of any point guard at 40.7%. Outside of Nikola Jokic, the Mavericks' point guard is more important to his club than any other player in the league. Ja Morant also has a significant impact on the Grizzlies. As previously said, he is one of the top clutch players in the league, having guided Memphis to 14 victories versus only 5 defeats in close games. Dunks and three-pointers also have put him ahead of Doncic in terms of estimated wins with 5.9 to 5.0 EW. Ja Morant is no poo-poo platter. He averages 25.9 points per game and 17.7 assists per game. Still, he's up against one of the best young players in history, and his two-way effect, which includes rebounding, defense, passing, and scoring, isn't nearly on par with Doncic's. Up next, we have career. There's no contest here. Luka Doncic's first 3.5 years in the NBA are among the best we've ever seen. Here's why. When compared to LeBron James's first 3 years in the league, his numbers are as follows: 26.5 points per game, 6.6 points per game, and 48.8 field goal percentage with a 0.9 DBPM. You could easily argue that he outperformed LeBron James in the early parts of his career, which is saying a lot considering LBJ is the second best player of all time. Luka Doncic has yet to win a playoff series with the Dallas Mavericks after the regular season, but he has done everything humanly necessary to get a second round. In 13 career playoff games, he has averaged 33.5 points per game, 9.5 assists per game, 8.8 rebounds per game, while shooting 39.2% from deep. Ja Morant may not be able to compete with Doncic's career achievements, but he's on the way to the Hall of Fame. The Grizzlies' all-star point guard has averaged 20.2 points per game, 7.2 assists per game, 4.4 rebounds per game, and 50.8 field goal percent, and minus 1.1 DBPM over the last 2.5 seasons. Those are good numbers, but not as good as Luka's. Morant has also performed admirably in one of his postseason outings. Last year, he and the Grizzlies joined the postseason party, and despite being swept by the Jazz in the first round, their point guard made the NBA world take note that he wasn't afraid of the spotlight. Morant averaged 30.2 points per game, 8.2 assists per game, and 4.8 rebounds per game, while displaying a ridiculous mix of spinning mid-range jump shots and perfect dimes. Last season's playoffs were a Ja Morant big break. The Jazz had no response for him. He isn't playing at Luka's postseason level, but he's giving him a run for his money. Well, guys, thank you so much for making it to the end of the video. Be sure to smash that like button, subscribe to our channel, and ring that notification bell so you never miss a video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.